out your results. So all those assessments we've been doing, I calculated all your results, and we're going to talk about what you're doing well and what you need improvement on, and we're going to talk about some goals that we're going to implement to make them better. So this is your copy of your results you'll be able to take home and everything. At the top is just your general information, how old you are, height, weight, and stuff like that. And we also calculated your BMI, which isn't always reliable, it's just a good number for you, which calculated you as overweight. So you'll see a bunch of different measurements that'll measure something different. Your resting measurements here is your heart rate and your blood pressure, and you have a normal heart rate at 76, and normal is in between 60 and 100, so you fall right in the middle of that. And then resting blood pressure was high. You were stage 1 hypertension, which isn't too bad because normal is 120 over 80. You were just a little bit high on your systolic number, but you were just a little bit over. And then waist and hip measurements, that was when we took your waist measurement with tape measure and your hip twice. And what we got was 38 inches for your waist and 42. And your waist hip ratio is the number we use to classify you for cardiovascular disease, your risk there. And how we do it is we just divide your waist by your hip and it gives you a ratio. And yours was 0.9, which puts you at high risk. And it's simply because your abdomen is pretty close to how wide your hip is. So for your age group, the normal for low risk is going to be 0.83. So we're just going to have to drop your waist circumference to lower your risk. And then next page. The next thing we did was skin fold measurements, which is when we had the calipers and we were pinching you. And what it did was it was measuring millimeters of body fat that you have in your body, and then we plugged it in to a bunch of different equations to find body density and body fat percentage. And we did it in 2 different equations. We did it in the 7 site here, and on the next page is the 3 site. Both classified you as overweight, but not by much, because normal for your age group is 13 to 17%, and since you got 19 to 19.5%, you're just all of these measure you as just a little bit overweight, and all it needs is just some slight lifestyle changes, and you'll be fine. You'll be right back in the normal zone. So the next thing we have is a cardiovascular assessment, and what we did was the YMCA cycle ergometer test, and we'll talk about how you did in that. So you finished the whole thing, which is more than most people do. You went all through all 4 stages in cool down, and then using how hard you did it with your resistance, we put it into your VO2 equations here, and what we did was estimated your VO2 max. And your VO2 max is how much oxygen you can take in and use to do work. So like when you breathe in, your VO2 max is how much oxygen you're actually using out of all of that. And we got 24.4, which is a poor VO2 max, which means your heart isn't working very hard. So what we need to do, we'll end at the goals section, and we'll talk about a goal that'll help your VO2 max there. So for your normal age group, you see it's 50 to 56, so must fix the cardiovascular endurance. Next we have muscular endurance, and what we did for you was we did push-up test and we did the partial curl-up test. You did excellent on both of those. Your muscular endurance is fabulous. So as you can see in the interpretation section, the normal for males is 22 to 28, and you got 45. And the normal for partial curl-up is 25, so you did very well on both of those. Just keep it up. And then the next section is flexibility, and we did upper body flexibility and lower body. And upper body flexibility, we did the back scratch, which is where you touch your fingers to yourself, and you had positive numbers on both of those, which is good. You're in the 80th percentile, which means you're better than a lot of people. And then lower body flexibility, we did the standard sit and reach, which is when you had your legs out and you reached forward to see how far you could go. And you got 15 centimeters. So what we need to do there is we need to work on your lower body flexibility. So interpreting all these results, the biggest things you need to work on is your cardiovascular endurance and your lower body flexibility. So if you turn the page, I created a couple goals for you, some SMART goals for you to fix. Your goal 1 is going to be for cardiovascular, and goal 2 is lower body flexibility. So a SMART goal, read right here with me. A SMART goal is a goal designed to improve your fitness by being specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and trackable, which means it's a goal that you can actually stick to, pretty much. I give you all the parameters, and all you have to do is follow it. So as you see, SMART goal 1, since you swam in college, for your cardiovascular one, we're going to assign swimming instead of like running, which is horrible for some people. So we're going to have you swim laps. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do it time, not distance. So we're gonna start with 5 minutes for first week. And every week you're gonna add 3 minutes to it. So you'll be like 5 minutes, then 8 minutes, then 11 minutes. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna wear a waterproof heart rate monitor, and you're gonna record your heart rate before you swim and after you swim every time you do it. And we're gonna do that 5 times a week until the next time we meet and we do your assessments again. Make sense? Okay. Smart goal number 2, lower body flexibility, is I'm just gonna assign you 4 stretches that you're gonna do 6 times a week, which is a single leg hamstring stretch, both sides, 2-legged hamstring stretch, the straddle one, standing up and straddle down, and then the standing hamstring stretch. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna work on your lower body flexibility right here, so you can do things, everyday things, more easily, so we can get higher than 15 centimeters next time. And what I want you to do is do it 6 times a week, but at the end of every week, I want you to take a tape measure and measure how far you're going and record how far you're going on both of them. And I want you to do 2 trials for each one. So you'll do this 2 times, this 2 times, this 2 times, this 2 times, and write it down every week, and then we'll talk about it at our next meeting. Everything makes sense? All right, you can take this home, and I will see you at our next meeting.